Well, it seems like we have a lot more good news this week, and there's a lot going on there. And I know it's been insane. You want to hear some of the stuff that's going on. I mean, there are other channels that are going to cover it. Obviously, we'll have our 2 cents eventually down the line. But I want to give you an alternative, and that's what we do in this channel. Give you alternatives to a lot of the news feeds out there. Some stuff that you might not have heard of. And here's one story that hasn't really hit mainstream. I might by now it might have, but we're familiar with the late Prince and basically his career that spanned many years. I mean, from my youth, from what I remember from the Little Red Corvette, 1999, Purple Rain, those album, the movie, Under the Cherry Moon. I mean, so much great music, and his estate has been up in limbo on what they're going to do with a lot of the stuff that's on there. And there's some stuff that basically hasn't been released. There's some tracks, acoustic tracks and stuff like that, that has been sitting there for a long time that Prince, didn't put out on albums. But what we're hearing now is the estate that's handling this is going to be doing some major releases, including on vinyl. In fact, they've released one acoustic track of one of his 1980 songs on there. But before we start with this, we just want to thank you for those who have commented, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't done any of this yet, please take a moment. It doesn't take that long to do any of these things. We really do appreciate this. It moves us up in the algorithm. We're trying to get out there and basically move us up, the chain of lines on there, because there's so many YouTubers and people on Rumble. It is a competition, right? And then on top of that, we have all the issues with YouTube and Google, keeping us to where we are right now. And basically, we do need your help a little bit. And also, if you look on the description below, if you want to help us monetarily, there are also choices down there. So take a moment and read our descriptions. We really do appreciate it. Thank you once again for tuning in. So, from VCR Classic Rock and Culture, Prince Estate hints at reissue plans for 2 80s era albums. There's some good news on the way for Prince fans who have grown impatient waiting for new releases from his fabled vault of unreleased music. That's what Londell McMillan of Prince Legacy LLC announced Saturday during this year's edition. This was last Saturday, edition of the annual Prince celebration, which took place in Minneapolis and the late artist's nearby Paisley Park Entertainment Complex. According to the Minnesota Star Tribune, McMillan said a box set edition of 1985's Around the World in a Day is on the way. The album, home to Raspberry Beret and Pop Life, found Prince's confounding expectations by refusing to repeat the formula which he had made with his previous albums, the Purple Rain soundtrack, so incredibly popular. I still have it on vinyl. In fact, I have vinyl and CD and the movie. Vinyl editions of the last 2 albums Prince released during his lifetime's 2015's Hit and Run Phase 1 and Phase 2 are also in the works. The estate kicked off the weekend activities by releasing a new acoustical version of Free from 1982's 1999. Looking a bit further ahead, the Purple Stream reported that McMillan noted that next year is 2026, so everyone is going to see something from Parade. The 1986 album was home for chart toppings smashes Kiss. McMillan also outlined some of the obstacles that kept the estate from sharing any major reissues since the October 2023 Diamond and Pearls box, noting that 2 major labels, Sony and Warner, and the 2 right owners, Primary Wave and the estate, must be dealt with now. He also explained that the legal estate wrangle which has occurred since Prince's death has helped slow down the already mammoth process of categorizing what is in the vault, explaining that only about 45% has been digitalized so far. While admitting the digitalization project needed to be speeding up, Macmillan explained the need for patience. Pushing too far will result in releases which are not being optimized for Prince's best legacy. There were 6 years before we became involved. We are not genies. And I agree. Don't rush these out. Don't. There's some great music from him. I mean, even his early stuff, his early '80s stuff, was fantastic. I mean, like I said, I still have a lot of his stuff on vinyl still, and even the spin-off stuff from stuff that he helped produce out there from different artists from his group, including from a lot of stuff from the Purple Rain soundtrack on there, because Purple Rain, you had the main soundtrack and then you had the secondaries from each of the individual groups that were in the movie. And, still to this day, Purple Rain is a fantastic movie to watch. Soundtrack. There are a lot of great soundtrack movies out there, especially from the 80s era. And a lot of them need to be, remastered, brought to play, and some of them maybe need to be put back on vinyl again. And I'm glad that they're going to be doing some vinyl releases with some of the Prince stuff, because I know there are going to be a lot of people out there that are going to drop some money out on this. I mean, we having the they've just they're re-releasing the Beatles box set, and it's already, the pre-sales are sold out, and this is at a price point of $500, ladies and gentlemen. There is a market for this classic stuff. Music today is not the same as it was in the past. How can we put it? And I'm not saying every artist is this way. The artistic expression of music has changed just in the last 15, 20 years. I mean, there is good music out there, but it's not like it was, not when you hit the 1980s. Take a step into the 50s to the 1980s, and a little bit into the 90s as well. There's some great music out there by many various artists in various genres out there. Rock, jazz, country western, opera. There's all variations out there, and it was some great stuff then. Not the way it's being pushed out these days. And a lot of these artists have passed away. We just recently lost Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, who just passed away when this video comes out, about a week ago. About exactly a week ago, we lost Brian Wilson, co-founder of the Beach Boys. I mean, we're losing a lot of our artists, but we need to maintain their artwork out there. A lot of people don't want this stuff to be out there, because basically they disagree with some of their subject matters to the point. They want to push out their agendas to the situation. And I said it to that point. Look at today's music versus the 1980s, the MTV era. Big difference. Major big difference. But the big difference is here. Comment. Drop a comment right now. Let me know your thoughts about this. Do you agree with me on that? Do you agree the 1980s era was a fantastic time period for the music industry on there? And what are your thoughts about this with Prince, with this new remasters, and also something that's never been out before? I believe you can listen to it online on most of the services out there. It is free, the acoustical version on there. It's out there. I think it's, in fact, actually, it is on YouTube. So you can listen to it on YouTube on there when you get a moment. So remember, comment, like, share, subscribe. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for clicking on this video. We'll see you on the next video. We got a lot more coming, a lot more good news coming out, some new releases, stuff that's coming into the future. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out Sci-Fi Snob right here on YouTube. We'll be on it Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern on YouTube itself. So until next time, so long, bye-bye, and have a good one.